So my friend Emily has a little Dillemily. She thinks her posture is getting bad from working at her computer at home. She also doesn't have a lot of space to work out. So today's just going to be a short workout that we can do from our chair, some sitting, some standing behind it, to mobilize your spine and your legs to counteract sitting in the chair too much during the day. I want you to sit in a chair that does not have any armrests, and you're going to sit towards the front of the chair so you have some space away from your backrest. Feet on the flat on the floor, hands resting on your legs. And as we think about your optimal posture, let's kind of give into our bad posture first to know where we came from, our origin story. So you're going to take a breath in. When you exhale, I want you to let your body deflate. Just drop your chin, feel your chest give in, and round your upper body towards your legs. Now, as you inhale, push down into your sit bones. And as you fill up with the air, I want you to rise back up into your softest tall posture. As you exhale, let your upper body collapse again. Feel how your back muscles have to let go to drop into gravity. And then as you breathe in, imagine you're stacking your spine like building blocks, but with space in between them. So you feel like you're floating back up to the top. Exhale, tip your chin down. Feel your shoulder blades spread apart, curl into a C shape. And then inhale, stack up. Imagine you've gotten taller since the first repetition. Just one more time. Exhale, flex forward. And then inhale all the way back up to vertical. Leave your hands at rest and just do a couple shoulder rolls. Not that you can't go both ways, but if you've been hunched over the computer, going backwards is really what you need. And then start to alternate one and then the other. Allow a little rotation from the middle of your body. So you're getting the ribs, the shoulders, and the shoulder blades into this. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take your hands and place them on top of your head. You could just stack them up. And I want you to angle your elbows forward a little bit. And you'll feel like there's kind of this spot where they just kind of naturally sit into the ball and socket joint comfortably. Now, I want you to do a shrug with your shoulders. So you're going to lift your shoulders up towards your ears. And as you slide your shoulder blades back down, I want you to reach the crown of your head up into your hands. So you have another sensation of getting taller. As you inhale, do a little shrug. And now when you exhale, glide the shoulder blades down. Feel the pushing into the sit bones and the lifting your head into your hands. Inhale as you shrug. And then exhale, feel those shoulder blades glide down your back into a relax, not a strain down. 2 more times. Inhale, shrug. And then exhale, release, like to their home base, let's call that. One more time. Inhale, shrug up. And then finding that nice, comfortable, neutral alignment on the back of your ribs. Now just slide your hands behind your head, and I'm kind of grabbing wide instead of lacing my fingers together so I can still bring the elbows forward. All right, all this next stuff, hear me when I say be gentle. You're pushing down into the sit bones. You've created that tall posture again. Now I want you to press your head into your hands, just enough to feel that like you have to activate the arms to fight back, and then let that extra pressure go. Now I want you to do that again. Take an exhale, blow the air out as you hold that pressure. Inhale to release. So I'm not really moving. This is just an isometric press again, and then let it release, where I'm doing it just hard enough to activate the back of my neck. So we're counteracting the forward head posture one more time, and then release. Now keeping half as much pressure backwards. So find that. We're going to do very, very small micro movements with your head. First, I'd like you to nod like you were saying yes, but you were whispering it. So as little motion as you need to communicate with me that you're down for what I'm saying. Yes. And imagine you're pulling up on the back of your neck as you tip your chin down to create a little stretch for the deepest muscles of the neck. 2 more. Okay. How about whispering me a no? So let your eyes and your head, your eyes especially important to make up for how little your head's actually moving. And you've got that gentle pressure of your head into your hands. This is a little, sorry, I think I bumped my mic off. And do 1 more to each side. Okay, hands back to the top. Maybe switch which one's on top. Lift up your head into your hands again. Now I want you to take an exhale. You're going to let one elbow drop toward your hip into a side bend. On your inhale, you're going to fill up with that air, rise back up into your hands. Exhale, side bend in the other direction. Inhale, back up to vertical. As you're side bending, one shoulder blade's going down, one's going up, and feel them level out. Find that center, and then over and lift back up. Let's do 4 more of those. Exhale. Inhale, feel the ribs expand, and exhale over. Inhale up. One more time each side. And lift. Last time. And back up. Okay, stay sitting the way you are. I'm just going to do diagonal for a second for the next exercise so you can just see my relationship to the movement. So your arms are going to hang by your sides. We're going to do a hinge forward at your hips. Do the first one slow with me. As you tip forward, you're going to swing one arm up in line with your ear. So we could say like an arm scissor. You're going to let that arm drop when you come back up to vertical, and then you're going to reach your other arm in line with the ear as you hinge forward. Okay, so as you're doing this, I still didn't really turn it off. You want to keep a neutral back. So if I go too deep, you're going to see your spine flex. You're just taking it as far as you can while sticking your sit bones out. And hinge forward and return. Let me face you, hinge forward. Your gaze changes. I'm definitely looking at the floor when I'm hinging forward, but like way out beyond where my body is. Now I'm going to add another piece to that. So you're going to do that same hinge forward. And now you're going to take the arm, circle it up and around, rotating your upper body to follow it. I'm back in the start position. Other arm reaches as I hinge, up and around. I'm not in the center of the chair. It's going to make me crazy. Okay, hinge forward. Let your gaze follow the hand. So as you're rising back up out of your hinge, we get a little extension in that upper body. 4 more times, hinging forward, long back, lift tall, circle around. And again, reaching, big inhale, circle all the way around. 1 more each side. Inhale, let your chest expand as you rotate back. Last time. And then up and around. All right, let's stand up. So now we're going to come around to the back of your chair. And I want you to be about an arm's length away from it. You're going to put your feet in first position. So your heels are together, your toes are turned out. So it's a pretty shallow V. Now we're going to start out just bending and straightening your knees. As your knees bend, your legs are going to separate and your knees should be tracking over your toes, like they're making a shallow V. When you rise back up and you straighten your legs, you should feel your inner thighs squeezing, your glutes activating. They're helping to extend your hips and helping you keep the rotation out of the hips. At the hips, yeah, 2 more. That's a thing. All right, from here, so you're still facing your chair, I want you to take a step out to the side, bending your knees in this wider position. Same swinging leg is going to step back behind the other one. So I'm going to go wide and then across. Okay, so I'm going to face sideways like you and across. The leg that's swinging, we're going to move that arm. It's going to go out to the side, overhead and make a side bend. Out to the side, over to a side bend. From the front, it would look like that. Open and over. It's 4 and 3. Last 2 and 1 more time. Okay, go back to wide. Now you're just going to switch legs. First hold with both hands and just get the leg pattern going. Just so we're even with the other side. Okay, so I'm crossing like a curtsy and then out. All right, so when you're ready, we're going to bring that arm into it, reaching it out to the side, coming over into a side bend. All right, so it's a better side to see that side view. And out wide and over. And if you feel like you're getting a little out of breath, that'll make me feel better to think about because I am. 3 more times. Keep it nice and bouncy. Use the floor to reach over 1 more time. And then over. Let's step back out, make that second position. Okay, go back to just bending and straightening your knees again. So now you've got a wider base of support. You don't even really need the chair. You can keep a hold on it for what's to come. But this should be pretty easy to keep the weight of your torso centered over your legs. 2 more times like that. All right, from there, come on up, leave your heels down, pick your toes up, pivot your legs so they're parallel. So I've got kind of a wide stance, about shoulder width. Now you're gonna go into a set of squats. So in your squat, now you're gonna hinge forward at your hips, let your hips go back in space and stand back up. I'm gonna drop down and rise up. We're gonna do a total of 8 of these. That was 3. You wanna keep your back neutral, use your abs to help you keep control of the torso. And 1 more time like that. Turn back out to that second position. Do 4 reps of the plies, torso staying vertical now. Turn back to parallel, 4 squats. Now you're going to go back to that second. Give me 2 plies, down and up, down. Now 2 squats, down and up, down. Now 1 on each. You're going to go out to the second into parallel. Repeat it again. Out in second plie, parallel to squat. Let me show you from the side. And hinge. From the side really means the front. I meant side to the chair. And wide and in. One more time. Out and in. Rise back up to stand. Lift and lower your heels. All right, so we're keeping the parallel alignment of your legs, exercising your calves. Let's do 4 more of these. Last 2. Leave your heels up on this one. All right, keep your heels lifted in space. Bend your knees, keeping your torso vertical and straight. So now we're back to a plie. I want you on this one to visualize that your back was sliding up and down a wall. And that'll give you a sense of holding your body weight back over the back of the foot and keep pressure out of the knees. 4 more times. If you still feel pressure in the knees, don't go as far down. And then stay down. Speaking of down, now I want you to hinge forward and push your butt back. That should also take care of the knees. You're going to stay on this slight forward incline. I want you to round your spine into a cat stretch, and then you're going to flatten your back out to neutral. You're going to round your spine, flatten back out. Pull the abs in, almost like you get punched in the belly, flatten out, or getting tickled in the belly if you're a pacifist, and then back out. 2 more times, flex and flatten. Last time to flex, flatten back out. Stay hinged forward, drop your heels, lift them up. Drop them, lift them. Let's do 4, 3, 2, leave them down, stand up tall. Pivot your feet out again, so we're back in the second position. I want you to plie, come up, pivot to the side, and do a lunge. Come back up, come to the center, do a plie, rise back up, pivot to the other side, lunge. And we're going to keep alternating. Once in the center, facing the chair, turn to the side, do a lunge. Now I'm back facing like you guys. Chair, turn to the other side, lunge. And chair, and lunge. Center, and lunge. We're going to do 1 more to each side for now, which puts me in the awkward position of facing away from you. Oh no. All right, so from your lunge, let me just get into a relationship too, that will help. You're going to lean forward so your back knee is straight. You're going to hinge forward up your upper body. And now I'm going to have you lower and lift your heel. Not too fast, but do give it like a light bouncy quality to it. Start to turn your heel in and out so that it lands at a slightly different angle every time. And that lets you really address the whole roundness of the calf, making sure we're kind of getting every nook and cranny. 1 more. Okay, back knee bent again. So now relationship to the chair. Your back leg is closer to the chair. And you're going to dip your back knee down a little deeper to the floor. Press and press. 4 more times. And 2 and 1. Come on, back up. All right, so you're standing. You're going to turn back to the center. Do a plie. Go to the other side. Lunge. Back to center. Other side. Lunge. Center. And lunge. Now, next time you're facing the opposite direction, we're going to hold there. You're going to keep that lunge. Straighten your back leg. Get that hinge forward. Abs pulled in. Glutes tight. Lower and lift your heel. Now, looking at it from this angle, I'm just doing a few in parallel. And then I'm going to start to turn that leg a little bit out and in, and just having a little fun exploring the different rotations of the legs. I love when I say fun and you're probably like, stretching, that's not fun. 1 more time. Okay, bend that back knee, get the torso up to vertical again, and then bob down a little and dip. You've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on back up, turn back to the center. All right, working with straight leg now. We're gonna alternate stepping 1 foot behind. So instead of the curtsy, keep the legs long and do a side bend in the same direction. Step through the center and switch to the other side. All right, so if I was giving you that on the front, it looks like that. Switch the hands and that. Let's do 4 more. Let your head go with you into the side stretch. You might feel this in your shoulder, your waist, or your outer hip. Last 2. And 1 more time. And return. I hope you're doing good with like your imagination and my poor relationship with this chair. Now, you're gonna step back a bit so you can hinge forward with your arms on the chair back again. Okay, I'm trying to get my hips lined up roughly over my heels. And depending on your flexibility, if you're very flexible, you might need to go back a little bit of your heels. If you're tight, you already know what's going on here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep the back straight, let the upper body release a little bit so my head's hanging between the arms, and back to being tight. If you're tight, it might be really easy to curl your back to avoid the stretch. So instead, I want you to tip your sit bones up towards the ceiling. So we're creating a pull on the hamstring that's going to bring all this tissue into a little more traction when I tip those sit bones up. Oh, and breathe. Stay in your hinge forward, and I want you to start to swing your hips left to right. And so it'll, I don't know, kind of feels like I'm drawing a smiley face or a horseshoe with my butt, with my pelvis. And you're getting a little work on the side of your abs. You're getting a release on the opposite side when the hip drops away. And now come back to the center. Now I'm gonna have you alternate bending one knee and then the other so that your hips rotate. And what starts at the hips is really an impulse that's more like a log roll where your whole torso is gonna go. So you'll feel one armpit kind of sagging as part of the twist. Your head will also rotate. One more on each side. And then come back to center. Okay, bend your knees a little bit for this transition. Turn your toes in and your heels out. So like pigeon toed, I believe is what that is called. I want you to bend your knees a little deeper so they knock together. But I'm still trying to put the weight of my butt backwards so it stays over my heels. And then I'm going to straighten my legs almost all the way straight and then bend the knees again. Keep that pressure down into your heels. And then up and sink down. Just tap those knees together. Now you don't want to, even though I'm encouraging you to lean back, I don't want you to start pulling the chair because of course it'll tip over. So at your hands, feel like you're bracing away a little bit with the heels of your hands. One more time. And that somehow magically even brings the stretch into your shoulders. And then back up. Okay, before you come out of this, walk in a little bit. That's a lot easier to push yourself up. Last stretch we're going to do is the figure 4 stretch. So you still need the support of the chair. You're going to take one ankle, cross it across the other thigh, and then you're going to sit down into that lightning bolt shape of a squat. So I look like that from the front, weight still in the heel, and I definitely want to take advantage of tipping forward at the chest. This should be stretch for the glute on the leg that's crossed. If your back is round, you'll feel absolutely nothing. So you have to stick out your tailbone, lift your chest a little bit, so you're even at a bit of extension, and look forward. Oh, and breathe more. While you're holding this, do a couple ankle rolls with the foot in the air. And then do that the other way. That might be another thing that would be nice to do during your work day. Just roll your ankles a few times. Do that figure 4 sitting in your chair. Cross the ankle across the other thigh. Sit it on down. Settle into the posture of it again. So you get that tail sticking out, chest lifted. Give yourself the full breath or 2. And then when you're ready, you can start adding some little ankle rolls. How dirty are my feet? Oh, my feet are nice and dirty. It's been a long day. It's nighttime right now. I live hard every day. Just kidding. All right. You're all done. I hope that feels good. I hope you use this during your workday and you can just sneak away, get a little movement break in. All right. Talk to you soon.